Hey guys, this is Owen Productions, aka number 4673, and I am back in Heartbaked Part 6, and we are going on a date with Carver. It's been so long since I played this game. Just watched the new episode of Game of Thrones, like episode 4, I think, and I'm really excited and pumped and stuff. So, this is something very different, but I'm still pumped on a date with Carver, whoop! So yeah, that was a weirdly cheery intro, so let's just go. I couldn't help the way my mind turned to kissing Carver. My stomach practically churned. For the cake, Vanessa! I looked at the clock, taking in a breath. It was about time. I headed back down to the shop, turning off the lights as I went. The cake is mine! A knock at the door cut off my gleeful song, and I walked over, looking at the clock again. Carver? Oh, this is gonna be so awkward. I kind of forgot the fact that this is really awkward and stuff. You're on time. I don't make it a habit of being late to my appointments. Appointment, huh? I breathed in deeply, curbing my anger and forcing a smile. Before I could say anything, though, I noticed Carver was looking at me over eyebrows raised. I blinked, looking down at myself. Biscuits. Did I remember to shave? Okay, all good. Yeah, what is it? You look different. I was caught off guard for a second before I rolled my eyes, folding my arms across my chest. And you look exactly the same. Aren't you supposed to, I don't know, dress up for dates? You are, right? I suddenly felt a bit self-conscious. Pastry God, I really hoped I hadn't made a fool out of myself already. We weren't even out of the door. This is gonna be a very, very awkward experience. I actually don't know why I was looking forward to this at all now. You're the one who wanted to go on a date with me, remember? He spat out the word like it physically hurt him. Good to know that we're both so enthusiastic about this. Well, never mind, let's just go. He gruntled in agreement, and steeling myself, I walked out into the town square. We started walking, and I curled my fingers into my skirt, already feeling a little nervous. It was so weird to be just walking next to Carver, not arguing or insulting each other. I looked over to him, seeing a rather bored look on his face. Better than that, a stupid grin that just screamed I'm better than everyone else. Stop staring at me. Well, I wasn't staring. He glared and I glared and then looked around, realizing he was standing back in front of my shop. We'd walked in a complete circle. Okay, where are we going? I don't know. This was your idiotic idea. But I've been following you! Ha! I should have known. If you can't even handle a task like baking properly, you can't possibly expect how to do simple things like pick out a destination. Pastry God, forgive me, for I was about to sin. I was going to rip the little head off his pancake body and eat it with syrup. I gritted my teeth, resisting the urge to throw in an insult back at him. This was just impossible. It was crazy to think I could even handle being in the same space as this guy for more than 10 seconds without wanting to strangle him. How could I be expected to date him? Fake or otherwise? We could. I was snapped out of my thoughts when Carver started to talk again, and I frowned. I just came up with a new recipe for strawberry shortcake. Shortcake! We could try making it together. I blinked, staring down at the magneto-haired grease stain. I think this is one of my most unique experiences with an Otome game ever. Okay, maybe not. I played Yoji and Bo the Bodyguards. That was a pretty fucking weird experience as well. But this is so unique. I've never seen anything like this, really. Like, at first I thought it was just gonna be a very basic Otome game. That's why I put it in between, like, Dreamweaver, who seemed to be a very, like, unique game too. And then, but this is anything but basic. It's amazing. Or something. Whatever. You want to bake? No matter what way you looked at it, it didn't really sound like a date. Might not have been the most qualified to decide that, but I'm pretty sure that's not a real date. Carver glared at me. Do you have any better ideas? I could give up and go home. I mumbled this to myself, and Carver squinted at me. What? Ah, nothing. It sounded like a horrible suggestion. We're both pastry chefs after all, so it sort of made sense, and I do like baking. Of all things, I could go with Carver. Of all things I could do with Carver, baking seemed like it would be the least irritating. Resigning myself to sticking with my plan, I gave a small nod. Fine, we'll use my kitchen. I gave another nod and followed the shorter elf back to his shop. As we were walking up, I noticed the door open and I paused on my step. For a second I was convinced someone had broken into Carver's bakery, but the person who walked out turned out to be familiar. Oh, great. Wait, what was he doing there? Benjamin looked up at me and then Carver, nodding his head. Oh, he did work for him! That's so cute! I finished cleaning up for the day. Did you remember to keep the sheep outside? Yes, although I still don't understand why that was necessary. They seem to enjoy walking around the fountain, though. Carver rolled his eyes. Just go home. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Benjamin looked over to me, and I still hadn't quite comprehended what was going on. Vanessa, Huey. I want to thank you again for the job tip. Sure. With a steady income now, I can finally build a bigger pen for Bernard and Bethany. Maybe even expand my home. Yeah. Benjamin nodded to the both of us, and then his sheep were gone. I looked over at Carver, who was already stepping inside his bakery. I followed him, still a little dumbfounded. I can't believe you actually hired him. The guy was weird and filthy. Carver waved a hand, heading back to the kitchen. Work is work. I just have to remind him to wash his feet before he comes in. I let out a groan, remember my first meeting with the eccentric shepherd. Carver disappeared through the doorway, and I followed a little hesitantly. It was the only thing to be alone with him outside. It was one thing to be alone with him outside. It felt different to be alone like this. When I stepped into the room, Carver was looking through a neatly filed collection of note cards. He took out one and set it on the counter, nodding. You read through that and I'll get the ingredients ready. Okay. Walked over, lifting the card, letting my eyes drag over the recipe. My gaze stayed at the note cards, wondering if all those were Carver's original recipes. I'm usually focused on my grandmother's. I have a few of my own, but not nearly that many. The silence started to get to me, so I looked at Carver, seeing him sitting out the bowl and sugar. So what? What were you doing sleeping outside? What? The other day, I found you sleeping in the forest. I wasn't sleeping. Though I could see how some maniac like you would mistake meditation for sleep. Yeah, I'm the manic one. Answer the question, Bubblegum Head. Like I said, I was meditating. That's where I come up with my best recipes. Oh. I hadn't actually thought he was serious. I blinked in surprise, rubbing the back of my head. Carver continued gathering all the ingredients, and I drummed my fingers against the countertop. You know, you should meditate more often. I think that's the quietest I've ever seen you. You gotta give those vocal cords a break every now and then. And, you know, everyone's ears. Carver scoffed. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Unfortunately for you, when we're around each other, I'm always full of things to say. It'd be a shame to deprive you of my superior insight. That sounded like Carver, but before that it almost looked like I was a bit caught off guard, and before I could think of something else to say, he was shoving a couple of eggs in my direction. I got the hint and started cracking. Carver began measuring the sugar, and I watched his hands move, picking up the next ingredients once the egg was done. I cannot talk for the life of me. For a pancake, he's got deft fingers. All of the other pancakes must be impressed. I let out a giggle, and Carver raised an eyebrow at me. I cleared my throat. So those black tea cookies seem to be popular? He let out a scoff. Of course they are. Everything I bake is delicious. Even if that was true, he'd get more customers if you weren't so obnoxious. Well, my shop was packed today. A customer even requested my limited edition original recipe cupcakes. I bragged, and Carver looked over at me. Well, it looked like you finally stepping it up to my level. You couldn't reach my level with 2 ladders. Once the ingredients were in the bowl, Carver started whisking. I looked over at the recipe card again, leaning against the counter. When I looked back, Carver wiped his cheek with the back of his hand, going back to whisking soon after. It was impossible not to notice that the swab of batter left behind on his face, and I couldn't stop the grin that came over my face. He paused for a second, wiping his chin this time, and I put my hand over my mouth. He chose that moment to glance at me. What? Pick it up! Oh my god, what the fuck would you do that? That is so weird. And I'm tempted. Oh no. Okay, time to save. Yeah. We're so ready. Or whatever it said. Laughing at him wouldn't be good. Teasing him, perhaps. Oh, Carver, I think you got a little something on your face. Where? I pointed to his cheek and he swiped at it, getting even more batter on himself. Need some more help? Your arms are pretty short if you can't reach. I giggled and gave me a glare before setting the bowl down and stumping, presumably to check the mirror. Very funny. Why, thank you. I pride myself of my mastery of comedy. Stop me if I'm laughing too hard. I laughed some more and he rolled his eyes, elbowing me and going back to his whisking. Oh, that didn't go too badly. Look, he's like kinda smiling. Still frowning a little bit, but kinda smiling. By the time we finally got the cake in the oven, the sun was setting. When everything was back at its proper place, the cake was done. Carver cut me a piece to take home. Sort of thought I'd be getting half, but nope, I don't know why I thought that. You should go home. I rolled my eyes. What a catch I found. This was not as awful as I thought it'd be. I guess that's the best I could hope for. It's kind of what I can't want to say too. Of course. Pressed my hand to my chest. It was a date with me. Carver scoffed. I wet my lips, taking in a breath. Okay, now for the kill. No, Vanessa, this was going well, and now you're going to ruin it. I can see it. So. Do you want to go on another date or not? Tomorrow then. Ha! I mean, I knew you would. Whatever. Carver disappeared inside his shop, and I slammed the door. I stared at it for a second before. Well, I think he slammed the door, but whatever. Before smiling to myself, walking back home with a bounce in my step. Another date with Carver tomorrow. Everything's going according to plan. I smiled to myself, laughing at the memories of Carver's batter-stained face. Did that go up or down? I cannot see for the life of me. I am such a good rhymer, to be honest. I'm going to save really quick here, just to be sure. It's that much. Let's try let's try licking it off, just to be sure. Yes. I grinned mysteriously, leaning closer. My nose almost bumped into his cheek. Yeah, what are you doing? I'm sorry for being quiet. I just, I think he liked the other thing better. He just was kind of repulsed by that other thing. Yeah, he didn't like that at all. Holy fuck. You know what? We're just loading up the other file. Or what? Should we just load this one really quick and check if laughing at him does anything? Yeah, we'll laugh at him. Alright, he marched over. Oh, oh god. He put dough in her hair. Okay. Regretting that yet? Carving squirmed out of my hold and I saw his fingers close around one of the extra eggs. You wouldn't. You're about to meet your baker. Armed with the bag of sugar and cream I charged. Missed me? Ha! Don't have the skills it takes to beat me. I needed to reload quick. Oh, I gotta end the episode here. I think this is the right choice. I hope it is. I'll see you. Bye!